Good morning, Vietnam. It's Mars JK here bringing you guys the news in a flash. Let's get right into it. Wow, I actually wasn't thinking that sound test would actually be that good, but it was, so I'm just going to leave it and we're going to get right into the news. And oh boy, we start today off with the douchiest person of the day award going to none other than Kendrick Lamar. And if it sounds like I'm being a little hostile right now, I am. Okay, anyone who's been with this channel for a while now, you guys know how I feel about artists treating their fans like crap. I'm not for it. Not at all. I know it's unacceptable to me. Now, first off, I do have to mention that I like Kendrick's music, and I think that his style is unique. And I'm going to continue to like his music, but that's not why we're here. We're not here to talk about why I like his music, no. We're here to talk about the fact that he committed the cardinal sin of treating fans like crap. Not just that, but he actually pulled a fan onto stage and then proceeded to humiliate her. So in Alabama, he brought a white female fan called Delaney onto stage to rap some words with him on the song Mad City. Now, if you know the song, you know the chorus uses the N-word at the end of each line, and once they got to that part, she went right out and sang it, just as the song was written. I'm completely for that, by the way. I think that that's perfectly fine, and I don't really understand why that's a problem. If that's the way the song is written, that's the way the song is written, okay? If there's a problem with that, if there's a problem with one type of person singing that, then don't put the word in your song. It's as simple as that, okay? Apparently, Kendrick wasn't too happy about this, though. Apparently, he wasn't happy about her not censoring herself, and he actually cut the song short and scolded her in front of the entire audience, who then proceeded to start booing her. After that, he then tried to give her a second chance, but then cut the song short again because he wasn't feeling it, and then kicked her off stage, okay? The stupidity of this is insane. Okay, I understand the harshness of this word to some people, and I get where they're coming from, but he knows the lyrics of his own song. There's no excuse. He knows that if you cut out that last part, that it disrupts the flow of the chorus, but he still decides to bring up a white female who's clearly a fan because she knows the lyrics of the song, and then proceeds to humiliate her because she sings those lyrics. Kendrick, you wrote the song. The song and all of its lyrics are an expression of you, not the fans singing it. The lyrics are under your definition, so if the N-word is being used in the context of my companion, my friend, my family, that is the context of the lyrics, no matter who is singing it, because that is your expression of it, okay? And if you think that there's something wrong with one of your fans singing along to your lyrics because of their skin color, then I'm sorry, but you're a racist pansy, and you should have never taken the risk. You should have never risked that chance in the first place. Okay, if you can't be like Travis Scott, then don't be playing this game of singing with white people when you know you have controversial words in your songs. Music is one of the best forces to create unity among people, and if you're going to try and create division because you don't like white people singing words in your song, then either don't sing with white people or don't include those words in your song. It's as simple as that, okay? And this wouldn't have been as bad as it was if Kendrick didn't go all Justin Trudeau virtue signaling douche lord on this girl and scold her in front of his entire audience, rallying them up. Justin Trudeau is, of course, Canada's loser prime minister who called out a female one time for saying mankind when he wanted her to say peoplekind. No offense, of course, any of my Canadian viewers out there. I do, of course, love you. But he has to be seriously disconnected from reality to think that this was a good idea. Did it never occur to Kendrick that he could be possibly putting this fan into harm's way? Did it never occur to him that all it takes is one radical person in the crowd to lose control and throw a fist at her and suddenly we have a much different story on our hands? I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, this looks more like a public setup than anything. It really does. Just based off the lyrics of the song, the way that the person that he brought up, and the way that he acted, it just feels slimy. I don't know. Actually, I do know. Okay, I do know. This shit is unacceptable. The way that he treated this fan was unacceptable. If he didn't want her to say words, then he could have just went over and talked to her instead of blaring it on the microphone, you know? That's unacceptable, in my opinion. And maybe you disagree with me, and I'd love to know why down in the comments below. Now, I do want to make one point clear before I finish off this conversation, and that is I do not find it acceptable for people to use the N-word in open conversation. I think that draws the line. Where I'm okay with it is when it's used in context of, say, lyrics or in a novel. Then it's fine because it's not relating to any sort of racism or acting a specific behavior, like trying to act edgy or being a troll. It's used in the context of quoting somebody else's words. And it should be viewed as such. If somebody else is saying it, it should be viewed as the way that the original person was saying it, if that makes sense. But I do want to make that point clear so nobody's confused about it. And now moving on, Scuff Gaming has announced they are releasing their first ever Sony licensed third-party PlayStation 4 controller in North America. About damn time. It's an elite controller called the Scuff Vantage, and it's set to come out this August. There are going to be two versions of it. There's a wired USB version, which will have a price based at $170, and there is a wireless Bluetooth version that has a price based at $200. Of course, it's Scuff, so there are definitely going to be customizations to it, which will alter the price. And some other notable things on the controller is the analog stick placement is an offset format, which is similar to the Xbox controllers. The thumbsticks are also swappable, with one having a dome-shaped mount and the other having taller stick heights. And of course, probably one of the most important features of any Elite controller is programmable buttons, which can be mapped to any of the four paddles on the back of the controller, or the new sax buttons, which can be found along the sides of the controller right under the trigger buttons. Not really sure how I feel about those sax buttons, because they're right in the location that your pointer finger seems to wrap around the curvature of the controller to rest on the front trigger buttons. So it looks like a button you could easily press if the activation pressure for it is light. And so I don't know how I feel about that. In all, it does look like a pretty awesome controller, and the price is pretty steep for it, but I wouldn't mind testing it out against my Razer Raiju. If you guys are interested in learning more about it, link will be down below, as always. Now wait, before you go running off to buy that new Scuff Elite controller, you might want to hold off for a minute until you hear this next story. Sony recently had their corporate strategy meeting where PlayStation boss Josh Codera proclaimed that the PlayStation 4 is entering the end of its life cycle. The console has now been out for half a decade, with it selling around 79 million units in its lifespan. Now, it is important to point out that Codera was talking about the health and viability of the PlayStation 4 as a platform going forward to investors and analysts, and that Sony predicts that there will be a decline in profits for the game and network service division for the fiscal year ending in March 31st, 2021. So Sony will not be discontinuing the PlayStation 4 anytime soon, and they do continue to plan to bring first-party exclusives to the console. What's also interesting is that Codera mentioned that during the meeting that from now until March 2021, PlayStation will crouch down in order to jump back into the future. Many have speculated this could probably be hinting towards the year that the rumored PlayStation 5 is set to be released. Now, for PlayStation VR players out there, this was also mentioned during the meeting with Codera, saying that the platform is growing, but not at the level that reaches what was projected, which doesn't sound promising. It doesn't sound like it's the end of PSVR, but at the same time, I'd hate to see Sony straight up abandon VR as they have with other devices in the past. I just want to know one thing, and one thing only. Are we still getting Final Fantasy VII Remake for the PlayStation 4? Because let's be honest, at this rate, Square Enix is basically dropping one major Final Fantasy per console. And so I'm a little bit nervous at this point. Anyways, if you guys want more details, as always, it'll be down below in the description. Finally, Activision and Treyarch has been doing some damage control since the announcement of their next Call of Duty title, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and the announcement that it won't have a campaign mode. Some rumors have been starting to float around on the internet that includes the original campaign that was planned was ultimately scrapped, or that the campaign might actually be repackaged in the season pass. It actually looks like neither of these are actually the case, as Treyarch's Dan Bunting went out and said, going back to the very beginning of Black Ops 4 development, we never set out to make a traditional campaign. I find this hard to believe due to the fact that Blackout mode is supposedly going to be making up for the campaign, and it's based off the Fortnite/PUBG Battle Royale fad that Activision is trying to cash in on at this point. The problem is that the Battle Royale scene didn't really blow up until mid-2017, and Treyarch's next Call of Duty title was supposedly in production in 2016, with rumors of it actually starting to crop up in around late 2017. So, and maybe there's an argument out there for Overwatch playing a role into this, but Call of Duty Black Ops 3 was supposedly an answer to that. And I'm confused at this point. If they haven't been working on a campaign and Blackout is only a recent inclusion, then are they seriously saying that they spent the past 3 years working on multiplayer and a couple of zombie maps? You know, this seems to be the most frustrating thing about this. With the inclusion of Sledgehammer, this was meant to give the developers an additional year of development time, yet Now we're getting a game that completely removes a core element of the original series while still retaining a full price tag. And I'd be completely fine if this game would reduce its price to $30. It wouldn't be a problem then. There's another rumor floating around that the maps are actually going to be free this time around, which is great if we're getting the extent of a map pack of all 4 of the map packs we've seen in season passes. But, you know, I don't know if this is confirmed or not. If that is confirmed, then I probably wouldn't have that big of a deal buying this. But still, I don't know. I mean, campaign is something that I very much enjoy. It's something that I play through in order to jump into multiplayer. So it's definitely something that's going to be missed on my part. Anyways, what do you guys think about this? Do you think that, you know, we don't need campaign? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all for joining me for this episode. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed it. Dislike if you didn't. Subscribe if you want more. And as always, I will see you on the next one. Mars out.